pretty obvious big week with two really good opponents. No conference championships aren't the ultimate goal, but winning these two would go a long way toward possibly doing that and setting you up for a good seed and those types of things.
Sure. Got to win one at a time, buddy. Whatever happens this week, we're still going to have USC the next week. So just got to try to keep getting better. The thing I tell the guys is, you guys have heard me say this, talk about their experience. I know for everybody else, it's like, they can win this, they win the Pac-12, they can get a seed. For the kids, it's especially your guys, it's their last year. Some guys, their only year. It's about their experience. At least I try to make it about that for them. So I would assume we'll have an unbelievable crowd in both games. And when you put the work in, like this team, the guys have put the work in, I give them all the credit. They've earned the right to be in huge games. There's nothing better than going out there with the whole crowd against you. I mean, I've tried to get them to take on my personality. I like that. I took this job, you run to the fire. You'll never experience it again, is what I tell these guys when they leave college. They just, there's nothing like big college basketball games. So you have to, they've earned the right to be in these games and, to have fans waiting on them. We don't really worry about that. The adversity comes in the form of Arizona State's team. Coach Hurley's done an unbelievable job putting this team together. Really would be if you looked up definition of transfer portal use, they start 5 transfers. Horn came a year ago, but the rest of them, this is their first year. And just a tremendous job of being able to do that. In this day and age, you can do it. And, give Bob all the credit. He's done a great job putting this team together. Some guys have been there are helping them off the bench. You don't just go sweep the Oregons the way they did, especially when the way they did. I mean, they look like the original Golden State Warriors at Oregon. When you saw the score, you think maybe Oregon didn't play well. Then you watch the film, it's like, I've never seen it like it. And the shooting was just, the display of shooting was unbelievable. So, a lot of challenges, their players being the real challenge. They got quickness, they got veterans, old veterans that are obviously having a lot of fun playing together. Probably the most unselfish Arizona State team I've seen.
What have you seen out of their rim protection?
They block shots, yeah. You look at their stats. Washington blocks them, but, the big kid from Phoenix off the bench blocks them. But the Cambridge guys do it. They're just athletic. And the way they defend, the way they rotate towards the ball with their athleticism, if you think you're just going to go up for an easy layup, but they've always been like that. I mean, if you look at, you better be ready to shot fake, get fouled, or kick it out, because they're coming. They do a great job. Dude, I don't ever look at Pac-12 stats. I would assume they lead the league in block shots.
Yeah, they're right there with USC.
Okay. So similar to what we dealt with in the second half against USC, like you get it in there, it ain't gonna be that getting it there is one thing, getting it up and in is another thing.
What's Mari's status right now?
He's doing much better. Had a active shooting yesterday. Looked good yesterday shooting the ball.
Is there a timetable for when we might
day
see
to day? Day to day. With Johnny had it. I'll take you back to you guys weren't around. We did Zoom back then, the COVID year.
Yeah.
Johnny had like a foot issue. They call it a stress reaction. It's not serious, but it could be if you don't let it calm down. So it's just constant bone scans and all that type of stuff. So just when you're dealing with at UCLA, we've got most of our players are going to have a post UCLA career, so you have to be conservative with stuff like that. So, it's kind of as he progresses.
Does he need to practice a certain number of days before he can play, or how's that?
Yeah, I mean, around here, it's again, I always kid around. I'm not. I'm fairly intelligent, but I don't have a medical degree. So they all do what they do. They get him cleared, get him to me. That's when I take over. I don't take over until they're back out on the court. And I'm not going to put a guy in a game that I don't think he's ready. He's ready. So a guy can't. I mean, you can't go from, not no practices to playing in games. So how many would depend. I'll need to see.
Is he going to go today or?
No, he's still on his normal routine today.
Okay. Did the doctors say when they think this might have happened?
Oscar stepped on his foot accidentally in the Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Then it happened again in the Davis game.
Wow.
With Will, he's got 0 turnovers and 100.
Great stat,
minutes.
huh?
Yeah, coming out of basically a year off. How crazy is that?
2 years off. Didn't play senior year in
right.
high school. Unbelievable stat. I'm getting Will back out there, getting him comfortable, but now I'm actually on him to be more aggressive. I'll do it again today in practice. He's such a team guy, and he was at Bishop Gorman as well. And he's still getting comfortable. Will wants that knee brace off, so he's lobbying medical staff to let him take that thing off every day. But I'll go to him in practice at some point and just tell him, look, if you don't shoot the ball in the next 5 minutes, you got to get on the treadmill. You have to score two. You have to score 2 baskets in the next 5 minutes, or you're on the treadmill. Just to try to get him to be more aggressive. I think Will's such a smart player. He knows he's on a veteran team. He's just trying to fit in. I'm trying to get him to. I appreciate all that, but I also want to, I know what he's capable of more offensively. So I got to make sure he knows I want him to try to do that more and more. So just things I got to keep doing in practice. It's unbelievable statistic.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I was wondering when somebody was going to ask me.
What's your favorite thing about Adem?
This is usually always going to be the answer with guys like him. Just his character, his personality, who he is as a person. Now, at whatever 8 o'clock Thursday night, it's going to be his ability. In the second, last 10 minutes against Colorado, it's his basketball ability. But he's just it's all. Our job, when you can coach a player that's really good, but also has everything you want in an attitude. Like in our little world of coaches, we all lament to each other all the time. I mean, it's just, it's a nonstop society of the miserable at times. This guy can't play. It's, when we're all sitting around, he can't do this, the guy can't. That, when you can get a heck of a player that has an unbelievable attitude, which I have a team full of them, it, and you got to enjoy it. I know I look like I'm intense because, we're trying to do great things this year, but I'm well aware of the situation because I got a lot of guys like him. But you asked pointedly about him, and he's just got, Adem is somebody that just he lifts everybody in the room. When he walks into a room, he lights the room up. When any team he gets on, everybody's going to play a little bit harder because they're on the team with him. You always want a guy that's going to stay positive and try to pick his teammates up at all times. He's just a great guy. Great guy.
Where do you think that positivity kind of comes from? Do you have any idea?
Tough to say, not his. I mean, there's guys that are like that, but his is at is, you know, in the top percentile. I mean, you know, he's in the like the CEO percentile of attitude and energy level. It's hard to find. Really, really hard to find. You know, like you watch, I think about like basketball in the last modern times. Like he has the energy level of a Kevin Garnett. Like when Kevin Garnett played, like it was easy for him to play as hard as he played. And people would ask him, he said, well, that's easy for me. And I was like, no, well, for you it is. Because nobody else plays as hard as you. You know, like it's, so when you ask it then, like I'm sure like that's just his normal, who he is. But as you know, when you see somebody that's that positive, that energetic, always has a smile, you realize it stands out because the rest of us don't. To him, it's as normal though. But it's really, really valuable to a team, especially in team sports because it can pick you up. It lifts other teammates up. All right, guys.
Thank
Go
you.
go ahead. What do you got?
You talked about trying to get more offensively out of Will.
Mhm.
Are there other guys that you think are trying to get more out of, like on the offensive side of the ball?
All the freshmen.
Practice.
Yeah, all the freshmen, Dylan Abramo. You know, the guys that have been starting since Amari's gone down have been, you know, they've been extremely consistent. But, you know, the freshmen, and it's tough because they don't get a lot of extended minutes, but they're all talented. So their development, our big thing we try to work on in practice is, so like, and you saw like at Washington when Abramo went in the first half, he didn't hesitate. He made a big shot. Because like this week, Arizona State plays 10 guys, consistently 10 guys. And so like our starters are not going to be able to log and play the Iron Man type minutes against Arizona State. So I would say, like you said, a big key against Arizona State, I say, is going to be Dylan, Will, Abramo, Kenny, Mac. Like those guys are going to have to give us some quality minutes. So we work really hard with those guys in practice. So when their number is called, that they know that just because they don't play a lot, that don't go in there and play like you don't belong, play like you do belong. So, but it's hard for them. You don't get extended minutes. It's hard to find a rhythm offensively.